Hello. Just a moment here. All right, sorry about that. Okay. Welcome to yet another stream for the My First Game Jam. Just getting set up here. Okay. So today what we're going to be doing is continuing to take a look at Kaboom.js and kind of seeing how it works and how you can build your game with it. Apologies, bear with me. All right, so, okay, sorry about that. So I'm going to start sharing my screen. Nice to see all you here, by the way. Why don't you tell me in the chat, is this, are you here for the My First Game Jam? And if so, have you started building your game yet? Just out of curiosity. I apologize. I wasn't logged into Replit, so I have to log in. That's my fault. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen here. And all right, here we go. Sorry for the delay. So what we're going to do today is kind of refresh what we went over yesterday, but then also kind of explore some new stuff. So for those of you who aren't entirely sure what this stream is for, this is a stream for the My First Game Jam. And so the My First Game Jam is a game jam where you can build your first ever game. And we're going to teach you how to build a game along the way. And when you're done, you can submit your game and win some hacker plan if your game wins. And the theme is favorite animal. Okay, so let's create a REPL to start. We're going to do the same thing we did yesterday. So we're going to type in Kaboom, and you should see a list of all these templates pop up. And we're going to want to click this first Kaboom right here. There's other options as well, but I recommend using this first one. And then we can give it a name, maybe like, I called the previous one my first Kaboom game, so I'll call this one my second Kaboom game. And then go ahead and create that. And throughout, if there is any confusion on something, let me know in the chat. I'm going to try to cover things that are helpful to all levels. But if there's something you're confused about, let me know. So now that we have created our REPL, let's go ahead and give it a run just to see how it looks. And you can see here immediately, for those of you who were here yesterday, we're back with this bean. So what I was thinking we could maybe do today is kind of explore platformers a little bit, because I feel like platformers is a very useful topic that a lot of games will want to implement. So let's start by deleting some of this code just to prevent confusion. I'm going to pop up my Kaboom documentation over here. Oops. So you can see we have this bean over here. And to start with how we had it yesterday, let's just add a body component. Now, for those of you who aren't sure what a component is, in Kaboom.js, a component is kind of like a little thing you can give to a character that kind of describes how it should behave. So you can see here, Kaboom uses a flexible component system which values composition over inheritance. Each game object is composed from a list of components. Each component gives the game object certain capabilities. So here, this body component makes it so that the bean falls. So it gives gravity to the character. And like I said yesterday, I recommend opening your game in a new tab, just that it's easier to see. And we're going to give our game a background again. So what you can do is up where it says Kaboom, you can type little curly brackets, and then in here, you can say background, and then you can set that to a particular value. So for example, if we want to set it to red, we set red to 255, green to 0, and blue to 0. If any of you aren't sure what this is all about, like what these little numbers are, you can watch yesterday's stream a little bit where we talked about pixels, or I can cover it a little bit now if anybody here is interested. But otherwise, now when we run our game, we should see that the background's red. But that's a little too bright, I think. So I'm going to just darken that a little, maybe do 100. Refresh. There we go. Now it's a little bit easier on the eyes. So I want to show you a cool function that Kaboom has called add level. So how add level works is you start by just typing add level. And then you can see here it pops up a little example of how it's going to look. So you can kind of see what they're doing is kind of showing a level using text, right? So you can see it's kind of blank up here, and then you can see maybe we have like a ground down here, and then like some walls, if that makes sense. So the way that this works is you can define what each of those characters does. So let's just start by kind of trying to make a level. So what you're going to want to do is type add level and then parentheses and curly brackets. Or I'm sorry, not curly brackets, square brackets. Those are the little, they're above the enter key. And then inside of here, you're going to put one row of your game. So for example, maybe I could put this. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the equals be equal to a floor. So let's see here if there's a good sprite for our floor. Here's a good one. So you can click the little cloud icon over here and select a sprite that you want to use. And then what you do is then down here, you put a comma and then curly brackets. And then you can define what each of those represents. So I want the equals to represent a floor. So I can say sprite floor, and then let's see what happens. This is not going to work. Hi, Theo. Nice to see you here. Okay. So, you can see here there's an error. And it says must provide level, grid, width, and height. And that's because we have to tell Kaboom. Let me make this font larger for you guys. That's because we have to tell Kaboom how big each of these blocks is. So we can set a width of maybe 30 and a height of 30. That means that each of these is going to be 30 pixels tall and 30 pixels wide. And now if we run it, it still is not going to work. Yeah, exactly. So, oh, I see what you're saying. So let's change this to 32. Because that's the size of this floor sprite. Yeah, my mistake. Okay, and now if you run it, you still see that it does not work. Now, the reason it does not work is because we need to load this floor sprite. So what we can do is go up here to where it says grass, click the 3 dots, and click Insert Load Code. And that'll instantly insert this little line of code into your program. And this line of code is simply going to load the sprite grass from here. But I'm going to rename this. I'm going to rename this to floor so that it works with this code. And now if I reload it, you can see we have floor up here. What we can do what are we developing? So what we're doing right now is we're taking a look at Kaboom.js as part of the My First Game Jam. So we're just kind of messing around with it. If you have any suggestions that you want to see me make, go ahead and tell me. But otherwise, I want to give you guys an introduction to how Kaboom.js works so that you're able to build your first game. So now, what we can do, there's actually an issue because these are overlapping, but these should not be overlapping. So what's happening is it looks like the size of the sprite is larger than the position. We're going to get invite someone to this REPL. So one thing that might help, I'm going to try adding area and see if that, no, it doesn't. Maybe if it's solid. Yeah, so for some reason, live debugging. Yes, hello, Danie. Live debugging here because for some reason, Kaboom is overlapping these sprites. Oh, is that the issue? Is it sized incorrectly? Oh, okay, so that's an important note to make. When you're using levels, make sure that the size matches the sprite, because if it doesn't, you're going to get a bit of overlap. So each of these sprites is 64 by 64. So because of that, we want to use this. So now, what we should be able to do so let's remove these two components. And then I'm going to add little spaces. So this is just going to kind of represent empty space. And now if you run it, you'll see now there's more space up here. The issue that you're going to notice is that the bean does not land on these little floor things right here. We can easily fix that by first adding area. And what area does is it enables collision detection for that block or shape. But it doesn't actually stop the player. And the reason for that is because you have to tell it that it's solid. So you have to say that it's a solid shape and you can't just go through it. And now you see that the bean stops here. And we're just going to keep, I'm just going to show you guys how to use it. If you have any ideas, though, feel free to tell me in the chat. But yeah, so for now, let's just keep it with me. Hello. Okay, so now you can see the bean stops. However, this isn't much of a game, in case you didn't notice, because the bean can't really do much. It's just kind of sitting there, but it can't move or anything like that. So what we need to do is add a key listener. So you can use on key down. And what this is going to do is it's going to call a function when you press whatever key. So let's say in here I put space. I can log that. So I can say debug log space pressed. And now whenever I press space, take that back. Oh, there we go. It just didn't update. So if I press space, you can see that it says space pressed in the corner. So what we can do is make the bean jump. But what we're going to have to do is assign this to a variable. So we'll say const bean equals. Now what this does is it puts the bean in a variable. And you know what? For simplicity, I'm going to use let. So if you're a beginner, don't worry about what that means. But I'm going to change this to let instead of const. Just for simplicity and to prevent confusion. So now I can say bean jump. And now, whenever I press space, bean jumps. Now, there's a couple issues with this. The first issue is that it can jump as many times as I want. which isn't really ideal. So, hey, Insane? I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. But hello there. Nice to see you. So, what we need to do is only let the bean jump when the bean is touching the block. The second issue is that you can jump off the screen. So ideally, the bean would be in the center of the screen. So, first let's do the camera. So how we can do the camera is with the function called CamPOS, which stands for camera position. So I can set this, for example, to 100, 100. And now you can see it moves. This isn't the good way to do this, though, because it's not really centered around the bean. So a way we can make it center around the bean is we can say, set the camera position to the bean position. And now it sets it to the bean position. But still, when you jump, it still doesn't follow bean. And I think it would be cool, personally, I think it would be cool if it followed bean. So, what you can do is every time the bean is updated, I believe that's just on update, if I recall correctly. So we'll say bean on update, cam position. And what this should do is every time the bean moves, it sets the cam position. And now you can see that it follows the bean. And yeah, thanks for the question. I hope that answered it. If you're still curious about if that made sense, let me know. Yeah, but thanks for the question. And so now the issue is that the bean can double jump. Or I'm sorry. Now the issue is that the bean can jump as many times as you want. So you can press the space. I can practically go to the stars because I can jump as many times as I want, which you probably don't want. So what you can do is use a built-in Kaboom function called isGrounded. So you can say, if bean is grounded, then you jump. If the bean is not on the ground, we don't want it to jump because that just doesn't really fit this particular game. Your game may want it though. But in this game, I don't want bean to be able to double jump. And so now I can press space as many times as I want. Like I am pressing it. I don't know if you can hear that, but I'm pressing space and bean is only jumping once, which is perfect. But bean cannot move left and right. So that's the next thing we have to add is on key down left. Now, there is going to be an issue with this, which I'll get to in a second. But what we can do in here is say bean move. And the first parameter is the x, how far we want the bean to move in the x position, and then how far in the right position. So if you press the left arrow key, I want the bean to move 100 in this direction. But I want it to move 0 in the up-down direction. So now, if I reload this, it does not work. Amazing. Live debugging at its finest. Oh, actually, it does work. I have to click on the screen before it detects it. So now I can do the same for on key down, right. However, there's a problem with this. So you can see I can move bean. Actually, wait, no, I take that back. Actually, there is no issue. I want to distinguish the difference between on key down and on key press. So let's debug log left down. And then if we run that, and I hold down the left arrow key, you can see that it just keeps saying left down. And let me increase the trying to remember how you increase the number of debug logs. Let's see here. Oh, log max. Okay, so log max. So we can say log max 5. Just that more can log. And you can see if I hold down the left arrow key, it keeps saying left down. However, if I change this to on key press left, it will only print it once. So if I hold down the arrow key, so I'm holding it down right now, it's only saying it once. I have to let go and then press it again, and then it says it. So you see, I have to keep pressing it, and that's the difference. So it would be better to use on key press. On key press for this space. And I'm going to change this to up because I personally use up to jump. Or actually, I'm going to add another thing to this. You can actually specify 2 keys here. So I can press up or space, and both will make bean jump. So both the space and up work. And now we're starting to get somewhere. So now we can move around bean on the screen. And I'm going to make him go a little bit faster here. And how to build a Discord bot with Replit. It's a good question, but it is slightly outside the scope of this career. Like, I can't show you really now. But if you are interested, you can probably find some tutorials on the Replit docs, probably. Or you can maybe ask for help in the Replit Discord or something like that. One of these days, maybe we'll have something, a stream, where I teach that. So now you can see beans moving. But this isn't the most efficient. Or, I'm sorry, let's say I want to change let's say that I want to change the speed. I'm going to have to change it in 2 places. So I'm going to have to so what you can do is define a variable where you can say let speed. And I see that question in the chat. I'll get to it in just a moment. Let speed equals 250. And now I can replace this with speed. And I can replace this with speed. And now you can see it still produces the same result. I can jump around. And I can also fall. Actually, those gaps should be larger. Right. And now I can fall. So that adds a little bit of a challenge to it. And also, just a little plug here. If you have any questions about Kaboom, you can also join their Discord here. And it looks like, so it looks like Danie answered your question. Yeah, so it's a little bit more on the complex side, but it's definitely possible. Anything you want to do with your game is probably possible with Kaboom, because Kaboom is just super cool. So you can probably do it about anything with Kaboom. But yeah, a bit of an advanced topic to cover. Now, the next thing I want to do, and credit to Danie for this idea, is I want to add a coin to this game. So I want to add something that you can collect, something that the user can go and pick up and get points for, maybe. I don't know if we'll get to points, but you'll be able to pick it up. So let's go over to the sprite menu and let's see. Let's see if there is an existing. Oh, there is. Okay. There's already a coin sprite we can use. So we're going to use this. And now we're going to load this sprite. So we're going to click the 3 dots, click Insert Load Code, and then it'll insert that into our code. Very good. Okay. Now let's add some coins to our level. And again, if you guys have any other suggestions for the to kind of play around with, let me know in the chat and we can see about adding it. I'm going to make this circle represent a coin. So I can say sprite coin in an area solid. Now, the thing is, I do not want the bean to collide with these coins. Because right now, the bean can stand on top of them as if they're a wall. Which I don't want. So, to fix that, we're just going to remove solid. And now, the bean is able to walk right through them. Almost as if they're like a hologram or something. Okay. So I see some suggestions in the chat. So a scrolling background. I like that idea. So I'm going to get to that in just a moment. But let's make coins where you can pick up the coins. And so what we'll want to do is use the on collide. So what we're going to want to do, add coin to, yeah, that's what we're going to do right now. So there's a function in Kaboom called onCollide. So what you can do is say bean on collide. Now you're going to have to put something in here. What you're going to put in there is the tag of the sprite that you collide with. Now what a tag is it's kind of like a special identifier you can give something. From a human perspective, when you're playing a game, you may see like maybe a bomb or a coin or a wall or an animal, and you can give those tags, and that way you can easily identify them later. And so now that we've done that, we can say when the bean collides with the coin, then we want to do something. So first I'm just going to log that and say collided, just to make sure everything's working good. And so now if I move around, oh, I think it cut off the text. Let me remove this. And now you can see it says, I'm trying to get rid of that left down text. Sorry. There we go. Okay. So now whenever you hit the coin, it says collided. And so what you can do is then you're going to want to destroy that object, which I believe you can just use the destroy function for. Let me double check that for you guys. Yeah, that's how you do it. So you type, I believe, and how do you... Oh, okay. So what you can do is it'll pass this coin as a parameter. And then you can say, when the bean collides with this coin, you're going to want to take this coin and you're going to want to destroy it. And now, if you reload and you hit a coin, you can see the coin goes away. Which, I mean, I don't know about you, but I think it's super cool that we've already done all of this. And it's only been about 30 minutes. I think that's pretty cool. Now I want to go to a suggestion we have in the chat to add a scrolling background. And I really like that idea, so we're going to implement that. Or at least I'm going to try to. So oh, looks like Minecraft chat. Yeah, it kind of does. Yeah, I agree. Kaboom. And that's the reason we chose Kaboom as kind of the focus for this game jam, because it's super easy to get started building your first game. So what we can do for the scrolling background is, hello, Danie. Is we can add, I'm going to create a background. So let's name this. Can you guys see this okay? If the font is too small, let me know. Let me adjust this. All right. If it's too small, let me know and I'll fix it. But so let's call it background. And now I have never made a scrolling background. So Danie is going to correct me if I do anything wrong. But, oh, it looks like Danie already made it. Okay. So as you can see, Danie right now is drawing in this. And you can draw inside of Replit, which is one of the perks of using Replit for this, is you can draw, is you can draw within this. So maybe what I'm going to do, so I'm going to let Danie make this background. And while he does that, I'm going to load in that sprite. Now, these files are a special type of sprite that I believe you'll be able to load in using load pedit. Now, if I'm embarrassing myself and pronouncing that word wrong, that file type, then, you know, I apologize, but I believe you pronounce it pedit. So we're going to load pedit bg, and, oh, yes, thank you, Danie. I almost forgot. So you click, so what you can do is go up here, click the 3 dots, and click Insert Load Code. And boom, it inserted the code. I'm going to move it down here. But boom, it's that easy. No pun intended when I said boom, as in kaboom. Okay, so now that we've loaded that, okay, add an object with the background sprite. So what we're going to do is, actually, I don't think we need to, actually, we might have to, but let's add a sprite for the background. And so you can type sprite bg, because that's what we called it up here, bg. So then we can put bg down here. And then I believe it will default to 0. I could be wrong, the position. Okay, so it works. So it shows up like that, but we want it to be all the way sized. So what you would just do, it looks like, is you scale, and then scale will make it really big. Now the issue here is the camera. So I'm just going to disable that, temporarily at least. So we're just going to temporarily remove the camera, just so we can focus on the background. And you can see, now we can move around here. And that's working good. All right. So now what we can do is, I believe what we're going to want to do is when the bean moves, we're going to want to... Sorry, I'm just making sure that I'm thinking right here. So I believe when a key is pressed, then we move the background. So maybe what we can do is say bg move. Now we're going to have to create this variable bg. But we can say bg move to 0. What this is going to do is move it by this speed. So it's going to move it by half of the normal speed. And then we can assign that to variable const bg, or let's use let. And then you can position it like so by setting the position to the width of the screen and then the y to 0. But the one we're actually going to want to move is this one. And so you can see here, that did not work. bg move is not a function. Yeah, and this is interesting for me too, because I just started learning Kaboom myself, maybe like a month or so ago. So Danie is a lot more experienced than me, I'll tell you that. But but it's very cool to see how easy it is to do things like this. So tiled, like Danie said here, tiled is going to add the background to the whole screen. So it's going to repeat it's going to repeat the sprite, I believe. And let's just take a look if it works. Is there a link for the code? As far as I'm aware, I don't think there's a way to watch me code live. If you want to check out the REPL, you can look at it here. And let's take a look at this. So you can see now that it's repeating. And it's repeating across the screen, and it's repeating down. So now you can move the bean, and the background moves with it. Although it's actually moving in the wrong direction, which is my mistake. So let me go down here and fix that, because the background should move in the opposite direction that the bean is moving. And now you can see the background is moving. Now it doesn't work too well since the cam position is reset, but we'll probably add that back once we get it working. So what we can do, so you can see it's working. Now the issue is that it ends. at the edge. So how could we fix this? Again, Danie is going to kind of help me along the way because I'm not an expert at how to do the background. But I believe what we can do is increase the width. Oh, it looks like Danie already did it for me. Thank you. And it should be 2 times now. And so now when you move, it'll keep going. So that fixes that side. But now it disappears on the left side. So I'm guessing how we can do that. Oh, I was right. So it looks like what we can do is position it and move it over to the left. Because that way but that may actually, okay, so let's just see how this works. So you can see it's working in this direction. Actually, it's not. And big shout out to Danie again for helping me out. So this one should also be moved. The back BG. So this is the one that's behind it right here. You can see the one that's kind of over here. And so we can also move that, I believe, like this. And now it appears to be working. Let's try the other direction. Actually, the other direction is a bit glitchy. Did I do that wrong? It looks like I did, possibly. So while we're working on this, in the chat, have you guys started on your game? And if so, if you're fine giving the idea, tell us what you made. If you don't want to spoil it, that's fine. But I am curious how many of you have started your game for the My First Game Jam. But it looks like what we can do to try to fix this is to put these in the center. So what we can use is origin center. And now you can see it works in this direction, but it gets cut off in the other direction. Let's enable our camera again. And then we're going to use that to position it to the center. And now if we reload, does it work? So it gets cut off in that direction. But in this direction, it works until you fall. So I believe what we can do is increase the amount that this is being multiplied by, I believe, and do maybe yeah. And Danie, look at what Danie said in the chat too. This works, but you can definitely improve this. So if you're looking to use something similar in your game, and you have Discord, then I recommend you join Kaboom.com, or I'm sorry, Kaboom.js.com/Discord. And you can join their Discord server there and ask for help. I apologize. I think it's lagging a bit for me. So I apologize for that. I'm not sure why that is, but it's a bit laggy. Okay. So that's kind of an idea of how you would do it. There is a way to do this much more efficiently. However, it's a bit more advanced. So because of that, we're just going to leave it for now. If you're up for a challenge, then by all means, go ahead, impress me. Go ahead, add it. But that's just for fun. Make the background stay, but just not move. So let's use, again, Sprite. Apologies if I disappointed anyone. But again, it's just a little too complicated to show on stream. So we're just going to make the background still. So let's use, so I think we can just do Sprite. And, but I believe this won't repeat it. Yeah. So we want to use tiled true. And we can do origin, center, position, center. And I believe, okay, that didn't work. I believe, oh. Yeah, so we can use fix. Thank you, Danie. So fix, if we look that up in the, we can see here, what fix does is it makes the object not be affected by the camera. So it'll render it last and it won't be affected by the camera or anything like that. And I think I think this looks pretty cool. I'm thinking I would like to display the score. And I think that's something we can do pretty quickly. I think. So there's a method in Kaboom called text. And so this is a component where you can add text to your game. So you can use whoops, quite the typo there. And you can type text and use the text component, and you use it like this. So you can type score of 0. And then right now it kind of follows you around. Actually kind of like it kind of looks cool. But we're not going to do that. We're going to make it fixed as well. And now, oh, does that not? There we go. Now it's in the corner. And let's just position it a little bit. So let's do position 20, 20. And now we're going to assign this to a variable called, actually I'm going to call it score, and I'm going to use let. So to summarize what I've just done here, we're adding text to the scene, and this text is going to have our score in it. And we're going to fix it so that it's fixed and isn't affected by the camera. And now if you reload, you can see it shows up there. And then whenever we score a point, we're going to actually, we need a score variable. So I'm going to rename this to score text. And I'm going to create a variable score. And now, in here, we can say score text equals score. And this should, now when you collect a coin, or not, now when you collect a coin, hopefully, oh, we need to add 1 to the score, of course. Oh, let me use actually score equals score plus 1. So what this does is it adds 1 to the score, and then it reassigns it to the variable score, and then it sets that to the inner text. And now when you collect a coin, you can see it does that. A little bit of lag on my end. Okay. Now I can do that. And again, a reminder that you can add to this level too, so you can make. What is Kaboom? Great question. Kaboom. Kaboom. I don't know why the REPL isn't waking up. There we go. Kaboom is a library that allows you to make games. Kaboom.js.com. I'll put the link in the chat there for you. And that's what Kaboom is. It's a game that allows you to make games. Now, Kaboom is a JavaScript library. If you don't know what a library is, don't worry about it too much. But basically, you're writing your code in JavaScript. But Kaboom is kind of like an extension almost. So it is different from Python, but Kaboom is very easy to use for beginners. So I highly recommend it, especially if you're going to participate in this game jam. I hope that answers your question. If not, let me know and I'll try to add to that. Let's look at one more thing of sound. So let's look through these sound effects here. I'm going to share my entire screen so that you guys can hear the audio. Because I want you guys to be able to hear these sound effects, because it's no fun if you can't. So I'm going to share screen and include my audio. So you should be able to hear audio now. So now I can select a sound effect. And here you have a song. You may recognize that song if you got here early. Oh, fun fact, that intro to the stream was actually made using Kaboom.js, which just shows how cool Kaboom.js is, because that wasn't even a game, and it's still made with Kaboom.js. So you can select a sound effect here. Let's find one. Tell me if you guys see one that you like. I'm trying to look for like a coin collect one. Power up. Score. I like score. I think we're gonna go with score. Let's add whoosh as well. I think, just for fun. But first, let's do score. So what we can do is go here where we load our sprites and all that. Go to the score, click the 3 dots, and then click insert load code. And now it'll add load sound score sounds / score.mp3. Now, I'm going to do this from memory, so if I'm wrong, I apologize, but I believe we can just use play score, and then it will play the score sound every time we hit a coin. So let's try that. Ta-da! And that's also for fun. Every time you jump, let's play the whoosh sound effect. So let's load that sound, and then let's do that. Now we have a bit of sound effects. Yeah. And again, you can add to this level too if you want. So you can go here. Let's add like a little thing here where you can like something like this. And then maybe you can put like a coin here, and a coin here. Yeah, I have. Is there anything else you guys would like to see? I'm gonna show you how to do scenes as well. I know we're past the 1 hour mark. I apologize. So if any of you have to go, no worries. And again, you can also watch the playback afterwards. But I really do want to show you how to do scenes. Because the bean falls, but then nothing happens. So I want to show you guys how to do scenes. So, what a scene is, sorry, my computer is just lagging a little bit. Will AI, okay, so one thing at a time. So let's see. So if you go to the scenes, add more. Yeah, so what we're gonna do is add a scene to where then you, so that then when you fall, a scene pops up and says that you lost. And then yes, double jump. Maybe we should add that. I do want to be careful because again, I'm supposed to keep this at an hour, but I also really want to show you guys stuff. And will AI automate game development? So are you just asking just kind of what I think, like if in the future it'll be? If so, AI is pretty impressive, I must say. Like, Replit has something called Ghostwriter, and I've been using it, and it's pretty impressive. So yes, I do think AI could automate it a little bit. So what we can do, yeah, like Danie said, for a double jump, literally all we need to do is replace this with bean double jump. And whoops, I accidentally typed that on the wrong place. Now if we reload this, the issue is that it only plays a sound effect every time. Okay, so let's add, what was the thing I was gonna add? Oh yeah, scenes. Okay, so let's add scenes really quick. So let's add, so what a scene is, for those of you who were not here last time, a Kaboom scene is kind of like something that you can change what, so what a scene is it's like, I'm having lost for words here. Let me see if I can pull up some docs here. Basically what a scene is it's a screen of the game. So you may have the menu where you click play. You may have the game where you're actually playing it and moving around. And then you may have an end screen, right? Where it says you lose or something like that. That is what a scene is. And in Kaboom, it's super easy to do. So, so let's, I'm gonna do this. Okay, sorry. So scene. So how you do a whoa, I need to do that. So how you do a scene is you say you simply use the scene function. I apologize for my little stumbling there, but you use the scene function. So how you do that is you can say scene, and then, for example, game. And then inside of here, you put a function. And then you're going to want to wrap all your code for the game inside of that scene function. And so we're going to indent it just to make it clear what we're doing. Indent, there we go. Now, the issue is that when you load this, it's blank. Nothing shows up. You can fix that with the go function. So you can say go game, and that'll take you to the game scene. And now you can see it shows up. And just to address a couple comments in the chat, which graphics card are you using? I did not see that question. To be honest, I'm not entirely sure. I know that's not a very good answer, but I'm not sure what graphics card I have. And then, like Danie said, the scenes are like stages. So the objects in the scene are like the actors, and it's like theater play. So you have each stage of the game. And so you can switch the stage or the scene. And yeah, that's basically what it is. So then you can have menu, game, blue screen. Good idea, by the way, for the double jump function. It looks like it's coming soon, though. And so now what we want to do is now what we are going to want to do is add something so that when the user falls off the level, then it goes to a lose screen. So what we can do is we can say, whenever the bean updates, we can say if the bean position Y is greater than maybe 1,000, we're going to debug log game over. And now you can see it says game over, although it's spamming it, and that's because it's staying on this scene. So we're going to need to move to a lose screen when the game is over. So now we need to define a lose screen. So we can go here and say scene lose, add text game over. And let me fix up this indentation here. Don't know how that happened. And now, when you fall, it takes you to a scene that says game over. And then we can also do on key press space, on key press space. Then we're gonna go to the game. And so now you should be able to navigate between the two scenes. So game over, space, and then you can respawn. Now, an issue I want to address is that you can double jump as much as you want. We can fix that with being on double jump. Being on double jump. And we can say play whoosh. And now we can get rid of that here. So now it will only play the sound if the double jump was successful. So now you can see it works. Oh, but it also only works on the jump. Then press space, join back to the game again, and yeah. But it doesn't do it on the first jump. So to fix that, we can say if bean is grounded, then we'll play whoosh. So now this will handle the first jump, and this will handle the second jump. So now we get that nice little whoosh sound effect whenever you jump. And you can play again. Thanks for coming. Yeah, schoolwork comes first, but I do appreciate that you came to watch. So have a good rest of your day. And again, this is available for playback. So if you miss any part of it and you want to see what we did, you can go over to the Replit YouTube channel afterwards, and this should be posted shortly. All right. Are there any final comments, questions, things like that you guys have? It can be about Kaboom or about the game jam that we're doing. Just to clarify, for those of you who joined late, this stream is part of the My First Game Jam. So if you're looking to maybe build your first game or win some hacker plan or anything like that, this is probably the jam for you. And we have a series of streams dedicated to this game jam to teach you how to build your first game. So are there any questions or anything like that? I'll just wait a moment just to make sure. Doesn't look like we have anything. Yeah, so feel free to mess around with this. I'm going to give you guys a challenge. If you're kind of looking to make something yourself, I'm going to give you guys a challenge. Fork this project, and you don't have to do this. It's just for fun if you're feeling a little adventurous. You can fork this. Oh, someone already forked it. That's okay. So my challenge to you is fork this project. I'll give you the link in a moment. And then on your own time, make a win screen, because it's not much of a game if you can't win. So maybe make something where if you get all the coins, then you win, or something like that. And again, you don't have to. You're not going to win anything from it, but it's just for fun if you're feeling up for a little fun. And maybe add a little bit to the map too. And then also, I want to show you, you can publish your REPL. So if you're looking to publish a game, you can go here and click publish. And then you can type in a name and give it a description. Check out my second Kaboom game. And then you can also give it some tags and maybe do Kaboom, Kaboom.js. And then you can add an icon, a cover page. And I'm going to add a description. Demo for my first game jam. And I'll give it a name. I'm gonna publish just because why not? And I want to show you guys how to do that. So you can, so I'm gonna put that link there in tags, cover image. I'm gonna leave. I recommend adding cover image. I'm just leaving it blank for now. And then you can click publish to community. And then it'll say REPL published. And then it'll give you this link. And what you can do is take this link and share it with your friends or whoever you want to share it with. But that's my challenge to you. If you're feeling of interest, fork this, change it around a little, have some fun with it. And yeah, if there are no questions, I'm going to end the stream. Doesn't look like it. All right. Thanks, everyone, for coming. I look forward tomorrow for those of you who are available. Tomorrow we will be having yet another stream on the grind for streams. So we're going to be streaming tomorrow, again at 2 p.m. PST. We will be discussing, I believe, Kaboom.js mechanics. Again, I'll put that link in the chat. So I'll be exploring some Kaboom.js mechanics. And I look forward to hopefully seeing some of you guys there. And have fun building your games. Bye.